local business owner in the Lower Mainland area and you're wanting to grow using digital advertising in 2024, my name is Parker Krump. I'm the founder of Tuff Media. I currently oversee $20 million in digital advertising. Last year, we grew multiple businesses by 60 to 600%. On February 7th, I'll be presenting our strategies in a live workshop at the CDM Summit.
Digital advertising. I get this question like weekly from business owners is when and how do I start? The best answer I give people is if you're just starting a business, it's a hit or miss when to start with digital advertising. If you start right out of the gate with digital advertising, you're probably going to build a business that's very dependent on digital advertising, and it kind of becomes a pay-to-play game, which can be good. It can fast forward your growth of a business, which is amazing. I prefer businesses focusing organic for the first channel. Bring in organic revenue, bring in a system of organic, and then layer digital advertising on top. It's a really bad analogy, but what I use with, think of, I don't know if anybody's been camping or whatever, think of your business as like a bonfire or a campfire. If you have this unstable or just half-assed built campfire and pour gasoline on, you'll get this big puff of flames, and then it'll go down and die. That would be traffic coming to your business, but you don't have a fundamental business, it'll probably just wither and die. Whereas if you have a very stable based campfire, you get the fire going and then pour gasoline on it, big puff of flames, and the fire continues. That's how you should look at businesses. Get an organic system, bringing your business in revenue organically, and then layer digital ads on top, and then the results are just exponential. Another reason why we do this is when you're just starting a business, you don't even know who your customer is. Neither does the platforms. It's really important for you to know your demographic and who you want to market to. It's 10 times more important for the platforms to know this. They're giant artificial intelligence. So when you first start advertising, if you're a new business, it'll just be going everywhere, spending your money, and probably not getting you the best results. A really good example is So Luxury. They're a local-based business. I don't know if anybody knows them. They're an e-commerce base. They're these two moms. They're amazing people. We've been working with them for, I think, coming up on 2 years. They built this organic business for their child. Their child had eczema, so they made this home remedy that like pretty much cured the eczema. Then they started packaging it up and selling to friends. I don't know for how long. It could have been a few years. They just ran this business organically, built it up to a 7-figure business, then came to us and said, like, we don't know what we're doing with digital marketing, but we got this great, stable, organic business. The day they started with us, they've been like an 8 to a 10x return because they had such a great organic business built. I'm not saying go that extreme and build like a 7-figure business organically, but it's a good example of what you can do by just starting slower, building organically, figuring out your demographic, and then diving in. Like I myself run digital advertising. I didn't advertise my own company until a year and a half in, until I had employees, until I had my niche figured out. Then I jumped into digital advertising. As well as a kind of a good rule of thumb is by getting your business to about 5 to preferably 10K a month in organic sales before jumping in digital advertising. Again, if you're at 0 and then you go into digital advertising, it's going to be a pay-to-play game and it's going to get expensive. And the first few months, the results aren't going to be ideal. I also recommend somebody in-house of your business managing the ads to start. You don't have to be an ads expert, but just having baseline knowledge, somebody that is at the brand is really recommended for a few reasons. One, you'll know how to collaborate when you do hire a marketing person or a marketing partner, as well as obviously Tuff Media is a great marketing agency. There's some really bad ones out there. So if you somewhat know what you're looking at, you will be able to smell the BS essentially. When a marketing agency is telling you, no, this is how results work. No, you have a baseline. I know what to look for. So I always recommend somebody in-house having some kind of baseline knowledge of digital advertising before hiring a marketing partner. So how you can get started and how you can start running your ads, honestly, online courses is great. I studied marketing in university. I probably don't use any of my degree compared to what I use with online courses. Udemy is a great place. You can buy a Facebook ad course or Google ad course for $20 and it'll teach you baseline knowledge. As well as there's a lot of great free resource out there. Ben Heath, Nick Therio, those are great names to go follow. As well as I always get asked like, well, what kind of budget should I start anticipating to get ads going? My answer to them is, well, what budget can you spend for 3 months without getting 0 results? That's a great way to look at it. Because if you're saying like, okay, I want to start running digital ads, but I only have 2 weeks of runway and I need results, it might not work out because there's a lot of pivoting and testing you need to do. Another analogy would be like if you play golf for the first time and you're not good at it and saying, well, this sport is broken. No, you just need more practice. So that's why I always say budget out for 3 months, whether that be 1,000, 2,000, whatever it is, with zero expectation. Hopefully you will be getting results, but that's always what I recommend. Also, know your break even ROI. That's a great way to get started. I'll just go through a calculator of how to, it's not just a 1.0 return. That's not your break even. You got to calculate your margin and everything. So, knowing your break even also helps. Next is creatives. How can you get started with creatives? 2024 creatives are becoming more and more higher priority in digital advertising. 5 years ago, you probably could have whipped up an okay graphic and ran a Facebook ad and got an 8x return. Competition has gone through the roof, prices have skyrocketed. So, creatives, I would say you need top media buying, and it used to be creatives down here. Now it's just equal. You need top media buying, and you need some of the best creatives. But the good part is the creative formula is becoming easier and easier to create, again, in-house. Everybody has a cell phone, the cameras are getting better. You can create a creative formula for under $1,000 a month, easily. I was doing this for a while with mine. Shooting on my, you can find a contracted graphic designer or video editor on Upwork or something like that, or locally. You can shoot videos on your phone, send it to them to chop it up. That's an easy creative formula that's low costing and can get you started. Obviously, when you start getting results, you're gonna want more sophisticated kind of creatives. That's when you can then go hire a partner. But to get started, contracted graphic designer and video editor with you shooting on your iPhone is easy, because the best content right now is, with the rise of TikTok, is like quick, choppy, easy videos. People's attention span are hamsters nowadays. So you have like 3 seconds to make that thumb stop scrolling. And that's literally a metric we track, is thumb stop ratio. And so creating these quick kind of TikTok style videos is great for organic as well as paid ads. How you can find creators, you can also leverage creators within your business, right? Like you can exchange of goods, maybe a small fee. TikTok Creator Marketplace is a good one, or Embold. Embold is another great one where you can source Canadian creators for a monthly rate and just start giving them creative direction. And it's like, I think, a monthly subscription of like $200, and they'll start creating content for you. So if you don't want to create the content yourself, Embold is a great place. As well, just so you guys know, I'll be sending these slides out for everybody, so they all have links and everything like that. So I saw pictures, all good. I'll send the slides out to and he can send it out. And then how to find inspiration on like, hey, what do I create? A website that I'm surprised how few people know about it. It's becoming more and more popular, but Meta Ad Library. Meta Ad Library is an amazing resource. So you can go see any company's active advertising on Facebook and Instagram. Meta Ad Library, you just go. So that's how I started. What do I create in ads? I looked at bigger, better marketing agencies that are doing 100 million a year. I go look at their active ads on Facebook and what they're shooting. Then I make my own twist and pivot off that. You can do that with any business. Go look at their active ads, see what they're putting their marketing dollars to, and then make your own twist. Cool, getting started. I'm gonna focus on Meta. Meta is usually a big topic when people come ask me. We'll go through Meta and a couple things, but start off with Meta is kind of a step-by-step guide on how to get started. So first step is organizing a business manager on Meta. This is where you add your ad account, make yourself admin, connect your Facebook page, add payment info, and your business information. How Meta advertising works is you advertise first and then pay later. So Meta needs to trust you as a business. That's why you have to put like your tax information. The more Meta will trust you, the better your relationship with the platform gets. So they need to trust you in order for you to start advertising. If you are advertising, or if you're thinking about advertising in the future, no matter what, go home today, in your website, install a Meta Pixel. Meta Pixel and a Google tag. These are, I'm full of analogies, so there'll just be a bunch of analogies to Meta Pixel is like a spider web on your website. Anybody that comes and starts shopping around or just interacting with your business, it'll grab their data and start learning. So an example would be somebody comes to, say, an e-commerce website, they'll shop around, add to cart, but then they'll leave. Meta will track that and they'll track their characteristics. The next person will come and make a purchase. Meta will then note, okay, that's the type of person that makes a purchase. The more and more the pixel learns, the easier your advertising
works, because as soon as you start advertising, you attach your meta pixel and it'll say, oh yeah, I know exactly who to send these advertising to because I've been watching who's been purchasing. Another reason why the So Luxury example worked so well is they had this business for 4 years just organically that was converting, and they had their meta pixel installed. So when we started running advertising, Meta was pretty much like, yep, we know exactly who to send these ads to because we've been sitting here for 4 years watching people buy. Verify your domain and then start building. There's links in here, whatever type of website you have. It's an easy Google away. If you have a WordPress, Wix, Squarespace, Shopify, just Google how to install Metapixel on my WordPress site. Easy step-by-step guides. There's support systems for all of it. So there's a few links already for if you have a WordPress, Wix, Squarespace, or Shopify site. Very easy. But if you have anything else, it's Meta integrates with pretty much every website nowadays. Okay, and this is also another step-by-step guide on how to create an ad account, how to set up a pixel, domain verification. But let's go into setting up ad campaigns. So Meta ad campaigns, they're kind of broken into, 6 main buckets. It's awareness, traffic, engagement, leads, app promotion, sales. Meta and Google is really good at giving you exactly what you ask for. So if you ask for traffic, it will send people that are more likely to click on your ads, but these people might not have the intention to buy or become a lead if you're a service-based business. Again, it's artificial intelligence. They're really good at knowing exactly what you ask for. It depends on the brand, but generally I stay away from the top 3. Awareness, traffic, engagement. All the businesses we work with, they want sales, they want leads. That's pretty much it. If you're a newer business, it's a great way to warm up your pixel is by sending traffic, but again, it's auctions. Meta is a bunch of auctions. When you select sales and leads, you go into the conversion auction. When you select these 3, you go into the traffic, awareness, engagement auction. These are 2 different people. These people have proven to Meta that they will open their wallet and they will convert. These people have proven to Meta that they love clicking on stuff, they love engaging with posts. Again, 2 different people on actually spending money. So I see it all the time. I audit hundreds of ad accounts a year. So many people are still spending money on traffic ads. And if it's for your business, so a good case study was like nude beverages. They can't actually buy, people can't actually buy on their website, right? Like they can only go to the liquor store and buy. So we were doing a lot of engagement campaigns. They wanted social followings. So if your business wants social followings and there's no conversion that can happen on your website, engagement is a good one. So again, but 90% of businesses can have some kind of sales or lead funnel. How Meta Ads is broken up, it's kind of a screenshot down here. It's broken up into 3 main buckets on how you want to organize. Campaigns, ad sets, ads. Campaigns is your objectives. These are the objectives you would select. And your bidding. Are you bidding on campaign or are you bidding on ad sets? Ad sets is your targeting, demographics, and placements. So like who are you sending these ads to? I'll go into a couple examples on who you can target. And then ads is obviously the creatives, the copy and the creatives, the images and the videos. So here's a more explained and fleshed out version of each one. Again, I would stick to these main buckets. If you have an app, of course, app promotions works as well. But like if you're a service-based business, leads, focus on leads. Focus all your hard-earned dollars on conversion campaigns. As well as messages. You could have a message campaign as a lead. We have a great client that he pretty much runs his business on Facebook Messenger, and his leads are people clicking ads and starting a conversation in Messenger. And it's actually a great way. You can have automated responses. So if you're a service-based, like this client he's a phone repair person. So when somebody clicks the ads, they come in, we say like, hey, what kind of phone do you have? Are you looking for a screen, battery replacement? We give options and they just select it. And we ask about 6 or 7 questions. By the time he gets in the messenger, the customer has already answered everything. He knows exactly who it is, their contact information. He just picks up and calls them. So Messenger is also a great way but again, that's the leads auction. That's not traffic awareness or engagement. Okay, I'll fly through these slides. This is just kind of like a quick baseline on how to set up. This is, for example, this was selected for traffic, but again, it would be the exact same thing if you select leads or sales. But this is kind of a breakdown on following through setting up Meta Ads. So you would hit create when you go into Meta Ads Manager. So this isn't boosted posts or boosted ads. When you boost an ad or boost a post, it's usually selecting the traffic awareness or engagement. If you want a conversion or lead, you have to go through Ads Manager, not boosted. So you go to Ads Manager, you click the green button top left, create, this pops up. You select your objective, again, should probably be leads or sales, and it'll highlight on the side where you are at in the setup process. You then select your objective. This example selected traffic. You would then select your bidding and it would move to the second section. This is your ad set section. So you can see campaign, ad set, ads. This is your ad set section. This is where you can name it, select where you want to send traffic to or sales to. Usually going to be a website, but again, there's also Messenger and some other options. You would then name it, keep it organized, name who you're targeting. You would then scroll down in the ad set section, and this is where all the targeting option is. There's custom audiences, lookalike audiences, your location. So are you targeting local people across Canada? This is all in the ad set, and this is where you start building. If you want to start targeting interests or behaviors, so like, again, if you're a service-based business, let's say you're a plumbing company or like a renovation company, people interested in home improvements, people interested in renovations, you would start putting this in detailed targeting. That's where you'd put your interest and behavior settings, as well as your age group and your location. Custom audiences is when you're retargeting or building lookalike audiences. Lookalike audiences is when you give Meta a set of data. So if you have a long list of 1,000 people or 10,000 people that have purchased your product or service, and you have them in a CSV like Excel sheet, you can put into Meta and say, go find more people that look like these people. It's called a lookalike audience. And that would be in here. That would be in the audience section. Here, the audience definition, it will give kind of a rough estimate of how many people you're targeting. This should be a large number. If this says like 4,000, 3,000, under 10,000 people, your audience is probably too narrow. You want to give Facebook the freedom to start learning. Again, advertising is changing into, you can't really outsmart the algorithm anymore. You have to give it a little bit of a broader approach and let the pixel and the artificial intelligence do the work. But you also don't want to just, you can test open audiences. So whenever I'll say open audiences, that has zero targeting, just location and demographic, zero interest targeting. That is if you have a warm pixel or if you want to speed up your learning of your ad account, you can just do no targeting and let Meta learn. Again, it will give you the about estimated audience. I would aim for over 100,000 people at a minimum. Like anything lower, that's probably a retargeting campaign, that's okay. But if you're going after new customers, over 100,000 people is a good rule of thumb. Once you set up your audience, you then go into the creative section or the ad section. This is when you're gonna put your, obviously what Facebook platform or Facebook account you're advertising from. You can then select a manual upload or a catalog. So if you're an e-commerce website, you can have a catalog of different products, and this is where it's just showing pretty much product pictures. It's usually going to be a manual upload and creating an ad. This is where you put like a graphic or a video together for your advertising campaign, and you'd select single image or video, or if you want to do a carousel. Here's it broken down. So ad setup, you'd start single image, carousel, or collection. Collection again would be catalog. You would then move into the ad creative itself. You would select the media. Is it an image or a video? You would then set up the primary text, so the copy. So it's pretty much the caption of the ad, what kind of call to actions you have, and a headline. Headlines are short kind of call to actions, and a description. You would then select your CTA. Learn more is usually the best bet. That's a pretty easy one that everybody goes to, or shop now. Again, if you're an e-commerce brand, shop now is a great call to action, but it shouldn't, if you start saying subscribe, there's actually studies that have shown conversion rate falls when you go learn more versus subscribe. People just don't like subscribing nowadays, but if you just put learn more, they'll still subscribe. So learn more is always a safe one, or shop now. You then select the website or link, where are you sending these people to? If you have a long link and it kind of, people look at links, and if it's not like just a straight up www.blank.ca, if it's a longer link, people think it's spammy. So you can have your long link here, but then in display link, make it a simplified version, just www.business.ca. That way you don't run the risk of people thinking, oh, I don't want to click this because it's going to a sketchy website. You would then select your tracking. This is where the pixel comes in again. You would set up your web events. Your pixel, once installed, would be sitting right here. You can then select the pixel, and as well, and same with offline events, the same pixel. please build a URL parameter. It's just like a UTM code. If you have Google Analytics, this will also track in Google Analytics. This is really important just for overall measuring the success of your campaigns. Next, Google Ads. So Meta and Google is probably like 90% of businesses find success on these two platforms. There's amazing platforms like Pinterest and TikTok out there as well. TikTok, if you want to advertise, they built their ads manager pretty much identical to Meta. So if you know Meta ads, you can learn TikTok ads very easily. So Google Ads is another great one. There are three main types of campaigns that we generally use. Search campaigns, which would be branded or non-branded, or as well as dynamic search campaigns, where you kind of give Google the freedom to create the search campaign. This is when you're, again, I'll go with a renovation company, home renos near me. You would bid on that keyword. That would be a non-branded keyword. Branded is when you bid on your own company name. The reason you do this is a very small set of your budget. Competitors will bid. If you're getting your name out there, competitors will bid on your name. So they will actually go ahead of your results if you are not bidding on your name in Google, which absolutely sucks, but it happens. So you have to spend money on people trying to find your company. It's usually around like 5% of your monthly budget we put there, but so it's very small, but if you don't, you just run the risk of people trying to steal your customers. Non-branded is when people are searching for your product or service, but without saying your name. So for me, it would be digital marketing agencies in Vancouver. That's a non-branded search I would bid for. Shopping campaigns, if you're an e-commerce business, that's when you search a product on Google, like say men's black hoodie. There's those images at the top or the shopping section. Those are shopping ads. Performance Max. Performance Max is a new style of campaign that came out in the last, say, year and a half. Google created it. It's, again, another artificial AI-based campaign style. This uses all of Google's inventory. So it uses YouTube, search, Gmail, display, shopping, like everything that Google touches. It's a bit of a beast. You build it correctly, give it parameters, and then let it do its thing. And it can really turn a profit for businesses, but it can also not if you don't build it correctly. It's kind of replicating Meta ads, but you can put audience signals and interests in your Performance Max, and you can start going after people interested in renovations, home improvements. You can start creating PMax campaigns that target different interest groups. The reason Google created this is Google was historically a lower funnel platform, so only people searching for that product or service. That's when Google really came in. So if you're a brand new like industry or kind of startup, Google wasn't really moving the needle for you. PMax helps solve that. It goes top of funnel. Example is like if me and say my partner are talking about getting a dog, or just talking in our apartment, or I'm looking at getting a dog, she's not, she will still get PMax ads because we're in the same vicinity. They don't admit it, but obviously microphones pick it up, and just I'm searching it up, they'll start sending it to her as well because they know that we're looking at getting a dog. Platforms know more about you than anybody. I think there's like a case study where Target started sending somebody advertising about being pregnant before she knew she was pregnant, which is insane. So a strategy on Google, and when I say top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, top of funnel is like TOF or MOF is middle of funnel. Top of funnel is going after brand new customers, people that have no idea about your business. You're targeting interests, you're targeting people that haven't been to your website. Middle of funnel is when people are in your ecosystem. They're shopping around on your website, they're clicking, they maybe have messaged you on social, they've liked a couple posts. Those are retargeting ads. So you're continuing to nurture them down the funnel. Whenever I say bottom of funnel, that's when it's retention. You're trying to keep them a repeated customer. Maybe they've subscribed to your email address, or another bottom of funnel campaign would be if you're an e-commerce company, they've added to cart, but they haven't purchased. They're so close, they're right at the bottom of your funnel. You just want them to convert. So top of funnel on Google, going after new customers, this would be non-branded searches, so people looking for renovations. This would also be shopping or PMax campaigns, kind of like the dog example I just gave. I don't have any companies in mind, I'm just looking for a dog. Middle of funnel is when I start shopping around. That's when you start getting retargeted by Google. That's when you go to YouTube. Okay, I just went to this website, now I'm getting their YouTube ad. Or you go to Daily Hive and you see display ads on the side. This is all middle of funnel. Having both is great, and having a full funnel approach is essential to to your success. If you're putting all your budget into top of funnel and you're not nurturing people, people don't make purchase decisions off of one click. You need to nurture them. And the higher your purchase value is, the more you need to retarget them. If you're a $10 product, yeah, you could probably get away with most of your budget in top of funnel because people will click and buy. But if you're over a $100 purchase decision, you need to retarget them and work them down the funnel. The next thing I want to quickly talk about is email marketing. It's not exactly digital advertising, but it really works off the back of digital advertising, and any business can have email marketing. So this is very kind of particular to e-commerce, but you can take this example and use it in a service base, use it in a software business. It's a low costing way of continuing to nurture people. So some email flows you should have before starting advertising is an abandoned cart, or if you're a service base, is somebody like that booked a call or filled out a form but then didn't show up to a call or didn't, having them go through a nurture sequence of like, hey, this is continue to nurture them down. Post-purchase, welcome, re-engagement, trigger emails, newsletters, and promotional. Newsletters you should always have for your businesses. You should always just be building an email list. The reason everybody kind of rolls their eyes at email marketing because it's just been around forever, but an email list is so great to have because you can continue to nurture them. And then you can also use that email list in your advertising. So if people are subscribed to your email list, you can then put them in Facebook and retarget them with ads. You can also build lookalike audiences, like I said, off of ads. So if you have 10,000 people subscribed, you can go to Meta and say, go find more people that look like this. It's an easy way to start targeting people. So an example of an abandoned cart or an abandoned lead form or abandoned demo, somebody that's created an action but then didn't follow through with a purchase, is just a simple email reminder. Hey, you filled out a form. We didn't convert you. Like, what's going on? Follow up a day or two later. Here's a short testimonial of a previous client or an influencer video or some kind of proof of concept. Second email is just tackling another angle of your product or service. Is, hey, we do satisfaction guaranteed, free shipping. Email number 4 would then be maybe a discount or some kind of push. After that, you can then exit them out of your flow and put them into your newsletter campaign. And then I think every business should have about a bi-weekly, if not a minimum, a monthly newsletter going. Abandoned cart or demo or lead form must-haves is just information, clear call to action, a way to contact you, some testimonials, and then link to shipping or return policies. Okay, common mistakes with digital advertising. Again, to the main point, giving it too short of a window. Digital advertising is hard. I do it for a living. It took me about 2 months to really find my formula for digital advertising with my business. I have a lot of testing and A/B testing. So budget it out so you can give yourself 3 to 4 months of just testing if you're diving into digital advertising. Getting fixated on like vanity metrics. ROAS. ROAS is a great one that everybody loves focusing on. Return on ad spend. It's a great metric. We track it. It's awesome, but making all decisions based off one metric should not be the case. I'll give you a great example. We had a client that was spending about $150,000 a month, like substantial amount of money on digital advertising. They were making all decisions based off ROAS, return on ad spend. We were advising them not to. The reason we were doing this is it doesn't paint the full picture. This business had like a 70% returning customer rate. So all they needed was new customers. That is generally very low ROAS. Middle and bottom of funnel, repeating purchases is high ROAS. So they were telling us, let's stop spending on top of funnel. We only want high ROAS. It's like, well, this business needs new customers. They were also seeing that Google had higher ROAS than Meta because Google is a pull and it will be higher returning than Meta, but they work together. We advised against it. At the end of the day, it was their decision. They put all budget into Google and cut all top of funnel. It was the worst month in the history of the business. They then went back to the strategy. It's because they were just following one metric. They weren't looking at a few metrics. So when you do start getting into advertising, follow certain metrics. There's cost per lead, return on ad spend, or cost per click, cost per demo, cost per lead form. Have I would say 5 to 6 metrics that they should all be ticking to dictate the success of your campaign. Not having a creative strategy is a really common mistake. People just create one or two videos and they think they can go advertise for 3 months. Meta recommends switching out your advertising every 30 days. So having a monthly flow of content is necessary when you get into digital advertising. So I would set that up before diving into advertising. Is how can I have monthly flow of content coming into my business? As well as setting up your automation. That's why I touched on emails. Setting up your automations on email marketing and a monthly flow of content before doing advertising will really help the success of your campaigns. The next is putting all your ad spend into one bucket. The days of like scaling a business on Facebook ads are kind of behind us. You should have Facebook ads along with Google. It's a push and a pull metric, right? Like having omni-channel presence is crucial to the success. I know businesses that scale just on Facebook ads, but that was about 5 years ago. Now it's really expensive, and if you just put all your money there, you will be missing potential customers. So that's why I touched on Meta and Google. 90% of businesses can find success running those two platforms, but together. Setup mistakes, those are easy. Not building PMAX correctly, not optimizing for sales or leads or conversions. That's an easy way of wasting money. So running traffic, awareness, or engagement ads, and then not having enough assets for Google. CRO is another, conversion rate optimization. You can have the best ad campaigns in the world, but if you can lead a horse to water, you can't force it to drink. If you have a terrible website or it's just not optimized for conversion rates, that you won't find success with advertising. How you can determine if you have a CRO problem or a conversion rate optimization problem is if you're getting the right cost per click and link clicks on your ads, but then they're not converting. So if you have above a 1.5% click-through rate or cost per click around $1 to $1.50, that means your advertising is working. You're bringing the right amount of people for the right cost to your website. But if it's not turning into leads, sales, or great interactions on your website, you most likely have a website issue, right? Awesome. So this is some resources that I'll send out with the links and everything like that. So a break-even return on ad spend calculator. This is kind of the first point of know your break-even. Everybody thinks it's just a 1.0. It's not. You got to calculate margin, shipping costs. You want to know your break-even. I also have a forecasting sheet in here. So when you do start advertising, based off your results, you can just put in the spreadsheet and it can start forecasting what the next couple months are, as well as link to ad library. Marketing examples is another one. And Mild. Mild is a great website. It's pretty much like ad library, but for emails. So if you're like, how do I start building my email campaigns? Go to Mild and you can start looking at other companies and what they're running in their email campaigns. And you can start creating yours to kind of mirror theirs. And TikTok Creative Marketplace is a great place to start looking for TikTok creators that you could work with, or as well as examples. TikTok also has an ad library that you can look at other companies' active ads. The last thing is, how do you scale? So just to summarize it all in like a 4-step process of how to find success with digital advertising, step 1, set up your organic systems. Kind of repeated this, but organic flow of content every month, social strategy, and as well as email flows. Once you have those things set up, bringing interactions and engagement and conversions into your business, that's when you can then step into advertising. Step into advertising is find your bread and butter platforms. I would start with 2. Usually it's going to be Google or Meta. I know businesses that work really well with TikTok and Google, TikTok and Meta. There could be, but I would start with at least 2. That way you have an omnichannel. The reason I like Google is you can hit Google search as well as YouTube when you run Google ads. Like running YouTube ads is off of Google Ads Manager, and Meta is Facebook and Instagram. So it's 2 platforms, but you're actually hitting 4, right? So that's why I like, but the best platforms are also the most expensive. Like TikTok ads and Pinterest ads are the cost of Facebook ads 5 years ago. So costs, how you can dictate this is a CPM, a cost per 1,000 impressions. A good CPM on Meta is about $20 in Canada. A good CPM on TikTok is about $5. But you have to have really good content. If you have poor content, you can't run TikTok ads. They just won't spend your money. Your ads have to look like the platform. Same with Pinterest. Pinterest is a great lower CPM, about $5. But Pinterest, we find success with certain businesses. If you're in the home decor space, fashion can do well, food can do well on Pinterest. Probably 1 or 2 I'm forgetting of, but it's certain businesses that find success on Pinterest. Not all businesses can find, but I think there was a stat, it was like 80% of people that go to Pinterest are trying to make a purchase decision. Like they're going for they're going to find a purchase decision. So if you fall in a category that would find success on Pinterest, I would test it out. Step 3 is finding a creative formula. So now that you have your flow set up of a monthly creatives, where do you put creatives and what stage of your funnel? Generally, we find success with this. Top of funnel is video formats, so quick, choppy videos, grabbing people's attention. That's all great for top of funnel, so finding new customers. Middle of funnel, so once they're in your system, shopping around, going to your website, interacting with your socials, this is where you can just have high quality graphics or carousels or motion graphics. And then bottom of funnel can just be high quality imagery with incentives. Again, this bottom of funnel is trying to bring people back. You've already convinced them, they bought, they become a lead, you're just trying to get them to retain. You can run videos top to bottom of funnel, but if you're trying to find what works for your funnel, this is a good rule of thumb. Videos, graphics, then just high quality lifestyle images. Once you have that set up and you start getting a good cost per lead, return on ad spend, good interactions, that's when you can scale. Scaling isn't, okay, I'm spending 1,000, now I'm spending 10,000. Your results will plummet. Scaling is by increasing your spend by about 20 to 25% per week, I would say. You slowly scale up. If you just all of a sudden double or triple your budget, Meta has no problem taking your money and running with it and just not bringing back results, because it rejigs the learning and they try and catch up. So if you slowly scale, the learning will keep up with the scaling. So we have that all the time. We have clients that, oh my God, we found success. Let's quadruple our budget. It's like, okay, well, that success is probably going to go down until we can maintain it. So we slowly scale them up, and that's how you can scale your budget. Once you start spending around, again, I know we're just talking about starting off, but if you find success and you start spending high, like $10,000 a month, bring in a first-party tracking tool. Tracking is the big enemy right now with digital advertising. iOS updates, it's kind of broken a lot of tracking. So if you're a business on BigCommerce, you can use Northbeam. If you're a Shopify business, you can use Triple Whale, as well as Blotout. Blotout is like a steroid injection for your pixel. It helps with tracking. It helps make sure you're recording at least like 90% of the interactions on your pixel. Where right now with iOS, you're probably only recording about 60 to 70%. So whatever return on ad spend you're getting in your ads manager, you're actually probably getting a better return on ad spend because they just can't track it because of the iOS updates. As well as people always ask me, like, what's the key to finding success? You don't find success with digital advertising by just outspending people. You out-test and pivot. Like, the clients that really don't find success with us is when they're doing the same thing. We're like, hey, it's not working, let's pivot, let's find a new strategy. Like, no, that's not our brand, we don't want to pivot that hard. Pivot, test, pivot, and then once you find it, then you scale. But don't be afraid to completely pivot your strategy if it's not working. That is the key to success with digital advertising, is don't be afraid to try new things until you find the metrics that scream, this is a successful campaign. That is how you can get started with digital advertising. But yeah, would love to open it up for questions. If you have a business in mind, I can open it up and tell you exactly what I would do for that, or if you have any other questions in particular. Oh, thanks.
Where does LinkedIn
LinkedIn. LinkedIn's a great platform, super expensive, so the CPMs are really high, but if you are going after like certain demographic of professionals, it's a great way. I would go LinkedIn as well as Meta, because Meta you can also target business owners, but LinkedIn you can get more granular. Like, you can target marketing directors with e-commerce companies, but again, the costs are probably close to double Meta. So if you have a budget in mind, go up when you go to LinkedIn, but we have clients that have had success, as well as softwares. Software is a great one because they're going after business professionals. Like we had accounting software. It's like, okay, let's just go target a bunch of accountants. LinkedIn's a great one. So if it's for certain, Meta, you'll target like business professionals and business owners, so it's a little more general, and you can find success that way. But LinkedIn, if you're like only certain business professionals can use this service, LinkedIn's a good success. But it's also very similar to Meta advertising, like the ads manager. So that's why I always start with Meta. If you learn that ads manager, you can learn TikTok, you can learn LinkedIn, you can learn Pinterest. They're all, because Meta's the godfather of marketing, they all mirrored their ads manager very similar to Meta. Yeah.
Does video still perform the best even on LinkedIn?
Yeah, kind of a different style though. It's more like, yeah, horizontal and more, obviously more professional.
So not like UGC.
Yeah, it's not like, I've seen people run UGC style, like kind of quick, choppy. It's more professional, but the way we say it is retention editing. So it's not like, oh, hey, here's a testimonial, like very organic selfie style. It's professional, but yet retention editing. So I'm sure everybody's heard of Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast is the best at retention editing. Every 3 seconds, he has something change on the screen. Because to the comment of everybody's attention spans hamsters nowadays, and you can even see my videos, like every 3 seconds, the caption's changing or little graphics popping up. So keeping the dopamine hits hitting can still be that way with LinkedIn, but it's just a little bit more done up and professional and probably bigger budget. But your video does work, as well as on LinkedIn, like lead magnets works really well. So some kind of like PDF download that then goes into your email sequence is a great LinkedIn strategy as well. So giving, I don't know if you've ever heard of Alex Hermosi. He's a little like business guru. Yeah, Alex Hermosi is great. Like his like your lead magnets, you should be able to charge for. Like you put that much effort into them. Like so, we had a lead magnet. It took us like 6 months to develop. It was like a 14-page step on how to, and we ran that, and it got really good downloads. But the lead magnets have to be so good nowadays because that strategy's been around forever. So you should almost be able to charge for it, but you give it away for free. So lead magnets work really well on LinkedIn as well. Yeah. Any other kind of questions? Yeah.
Hey, random question. So we've been working with I got some guys doing our Google ads for about a year
Okay.
now. And we've just started doing more Facebook ads, but we've hired someone separate for Facebook ads because they're sort of like new, keener, and they're one of their first new clients.
Yeah.
So we feel with this other agency, they're sort of doing us a solid because they've never represented I have a comedy company. They've never repped that sort of service-based business.
Cool.
So it's new for them, for their portfolio. Do you think that's dumb to have two separate hands doing it?
No, I don't think it's dumb. I think they need to collaborate for sure. It is two different type of marketers, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, so the way my team split up, like I have a team of 14, half of them are search specialists, half of them are social specialists. Right. So it is two different marketers still, even on my team. But then we just manage them with two people working on it. So it's not, if you're working with smaller companies and they just specialize in Google, that's still fine. That's not a red flag for me because it is very different, where meta advertising is a lot more kind of creative strategists along with digital strategists, where Google, you can just be kind of like an analytics freak and just really work the ad account. So it's not a red flag for me, but they should be talking to each other. Okay. If they're not talking to each other, that's where the red flag comes in. Because again, it's not Meta versus Google, it's Meta and Google. Meta's your push. You can even put a conversion, so you should talk to them. You can put a conversion in your Meta advertising that tracks how many people see or click an ad and then end up Googling. Because then you can track, okay, well, how much of Google's success is being pushed by Meta. So that's another reason why they should be talking to each other is like, hey, how hard are we pushing top funnel? How hard are we pulling them in on Google? So I've talked to clients that come on and we're like, we have two parties right now. We want one team working on both of them. That's fine. But again, I myself internally have them separated because it's just two different types of marketers.
Because she's just sort of like out of school, so we're getting super
you're probably a great deal.
And they're like a huge digital firm.
Yeah. No, that's not a red flag. But they should have it like bi-weekly meetings, I would say, and they should be communicating. If they're just working in silos, that's scary. Yeah.
Okay, copy. Thank you.
No problem. Any other?
Yeah, if you had a budget of like $500 a month,
yeah,
would you still say you should split it?
That's when you would probably go to one platform. So yeah, $500 a month. That's when, if you split it 250, that is kind of spreading yourself a little too thin. That's when I would go to take the best educated guess. But that's when you can go like, okay, I'm going to go a month to 2 months of testing Google ads, and then the next 2 months test Meta ads, and then see which one brings it. So you can still test both platforms, but you just have to go in stages then. But $500, I would probably stick to one platform. And it depends on the business. Like a lot of them just automatically go to Meta, but you can find success on Google with $500. But yeah, I would go to one. Once you hit like $2,000 a month, that's when you can start running both, $1,000 and then work, optimize the budget accordingly. Sweet.
I'm just like, whoa.
Yeah.
As like you stepped into paid ads for your own company.
Yeah.
Like I have my own like fears around trying to step in as like a social media manager, and like well, every big marketing agency is already trying to take up space in social media management. So
Yeah.
what have you found has worked for you to kind of surpass like these huge agencies taking up a lot
Yeah.
of space?
So I would say most of my like bigger clients don't come from ads. They come from referrals and like co-pitches, but like smaller clients that still move the needle, they come from ads. And what I found success with a service-based business, I mean, before and afters are again like the godfather of marketing. So we're so simple. My videos are like 15 seconds. And it's like, hey, client talked to us, they started here, we took them here. If you want to know how we did this, hit the link below. So like you can do that with any service-based business. Again, a rental company, social management. Hey, here's a screenshot of their social beforehand. They had this many followers. This is what we're doing now. Hit the link below, book a meeting in my calendar. Like it can be quick, choppy retention editing and still give a proof of concept in there. And what I do is I record like one video that I'm really confident in, and then I re-record the first 5 seconds. So I have 5 different versions of the first 5 seconds, but then 75% of the video is the exact same. So that way I'm not doing like 6 different ads and trying to be creative. It's just one ad, but then the first hook is different because hooks are everything. Hooks, you need to stop people from scrolling. So if you're starting to create a creative formula, you can just have one good ad and just re-record your hook multiple different and then you have 6 different ads. So that's how I make like a lean operation go further. But that's how I find success. It's just giving proof of concepts, kind of statistics that make them stop and like, okay, I'm going to book in a call, and then the sales process helps. So that's where we found success. Is just first 3 seconds showing the results. Yeah. Awesome. Anyway,
Yeah, I got a small immigration company.
Yeah.
And it's like 7 years, so like a lot of it has been like organic.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I got played around with the Facebook Meta. And
Yeah.
I'll put on for 2 months. But at the same time, I don't know what's coming from where, because
Yeah.
I could be fully booked for like 2-3 weeks ahead, but I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know if it's just happens to be because I got a Meta ad going,
Yeah.
or because a lot of it is it's based on trust, and people, friends will usually, I would say, it would translate from one person to another 3
Yeah.
friends because they want to know. So sometimes I don't know. Like I did notice though the traffic. That was a good tip there.
You're
'cause
running traffic,
I'm
aren't
running
you?
traffic,
Yeah. And you don't have a pixel installed probably.
I think I have a pixel
Okay,
installed already, yeah.
then that's perfect, because if you have a pixel installed, you can then run a conversion campaign, and you can start tracking how many leads. So how does a customer come to you? Do they fill out a form and then book a meeting, or just fill out a
Yeah,
form?
see, like I would put it to the website, and then there's a booking page.
Yep.
So they could go to there and they could just book right there, and every time they book they have to fill out like a consultation agreement.
Yep.
And then that comes up in my email, so I know.
Perfect.
And then I'll get the update if it goes through Calendly or whatever.
Yeah.
For the booking.
I run a similar system. So what happens is you fill out the lead form.
Mhm.
Once they fill out the form, it should go to a thank you page. And the only way you can get to that thank you page is by filling out the form. If you have a pixel, you just track that URL, like www.immigration.com/thank-you.
Yeah.
So whoever gets to thank you is a lead. And that's what you put in your pixel. So that's where you optimize. Okay, what is the final conversion? It's that thank you page. And then ads manager will start reporting to you, okay, you got 5 leads at $20 per lead. So then you'll start knowing. You won't know who exactly, it won't say the name, but if you're getting like 50 leads a day and that's what you're trying to figure out, that's harder, but at least you know your cost per lead. As well as immigration, I would test out Google ads. We had a immigration client, they weren't immigration, it was overseas students looking for scholarships here. And we found a lot of success on Google. They're searching for it, and you have to bid overseas though.
Yeah.
But they were in Meta and Google. They ended up putting 70% of their budget towards
The
Google.
main amount of my clients though would be actually within, they're already like temporary
They're already
foreign
here?
workers or students, whatever, and they're
Yeah.
trying to kind of get through PR or citizenship.
Yeah, I would still test out Google because a lot of them go to search to find these
Is there quite
places.
a price difference between Meta and Google ads?
No, it's actually pretty similar. There's a price difference between Google, Meta, and TikTok and Pinterest, but Google and they generally have. It's an auction, so it depends on what you're bidding for and if there's big players in the space. So like we have a client that's in internet, and we're competing against TELUS and Shaw. So the CPMS are ridiculous. Like it's because those companies just have like $1 million a month budget. So it depends how big of the players are in your space. If there's big companies that have massive budgets, then it can drive up the price. But yeah, so it can depend. But generally, it's pretty similar. If you want to go for a low costing, that's where Bing ads actually works. They, again, similar to Bing. Yeah, there's still millions of people on Bing. People laugh when I say it. Yeah, I was like, we actually had a client because they're about half the price of Google ads, and so we usually run Google ads and then we test out Bing. It's usually an older demographic that's on Bing, but it's like half the price of Google ads.
It'd be all young people. Like most of my clients would be like 20s to mid-30s.
Yeah, then Meta and Google will be your system, but make sure if you're probably not finding success on Meta because you're running a traffic. So if you just shift that to a lead and then track that thank you page, you'll see success. It'll really improve your results, and you'll be able to see what is your cost per lead right now, and then test out Google.
I've tried testing it in other countries, and then I played around with like the when you get the exact behaviors.
Yep. Yeah.
I've done a bit of that.
Yeah. So I would do like one campaign, one ad set is behaviors and interests. Because you have a pixel installed, one can just be open, so and just let Facebook do it, and then just see which one starts bringing in results. You might be surprised if you've had a pixel installed for a couple of years. The open might end up doing.
I think with the traffic, because I got some racist crap coming up.
Oh, jeez.
Like, Canada's
full of
crap, so like, and they're like, I need to get.
Oh, there's keyboard warriors in every industry. They love. You should see the comments I get. Oh yeah, I love it. But no, you can't. You can start blocking people, but unfortunately, there's on Facebook they love. They love commenting. But no, you'll see success when you switch away from traffic.
I think so.
Yeah, do you have a
So we're currently running what I would call a Gatling gun campaign of everything we like in terms of every medium, because we're not even 2 years in, and we only have a show once a week.
Okay.
So we're doing everything like postering and working with fantastic social media marketing companies. To do socials and things. So we do have Google ads running, but like. Maybe I'm getting this wrong, but it's tricky to get a whole bunch of data because you only know once a week if kind of what you're doing is working, and our conversion rate is like next to nothing, but impressions are growing and there's more bumps in seats, whether that's because we've been around for 2 years and we have like over 100 TripAdvisor reviews now, or it's because slowly the Google guys are, it's just it's starting to work. But people, because I don't click and buy through ads. Like that's not me as a consumer. Like my comedy tickets, I would never do that. So I just don't know. How do you know?
I think you'd be surprised. We've had a couple comedy clubs and they did really well with ads. Are you selling tickets on your website or Eventbrite?
No, we don't. So it's through Eventbrite,
So you can put your pixel on Eventbrite. You can create your own page. We had a couple Eventbrite clients, and there's an integration with your pixel on your Eventbrite page. So you can actually track your meta ads, people clicking and then buying on your Eventbrite.
I think we have done that.
Yeah. So then make sure you're running a conversion campaign, a sales campaign, and then you can start tracking.
On Google.
Yeah, Google as well. You can integrate it into Eventbrite. So you can run both Meta and Google, and you can track what is your cost per purchase of a ticket. So if the average ticket's $25, it better be under that. So as well, the best part about comedy clubs is nobody goes alone. So if one person's buying for under 25, they're probably bringing friends, and that's where the ROI will be. So as long as that one purchase is below whatever the admission fee is, then you're probably ROI positive, but make sure you're tracking your cost per purchase, and you can do that through Eventbrite. It doesn't have to be your website. A lot of those third-party websites, so like Calendly as well, they have integrations with your pixels. So you can track cost per book call on Calendly, cost per purchase on Eventbrite. As long as they have an API with Meta, you can track it all.
I think we have done that because we did get the event certificate so that people can click right through. Our ad will take them immediately to Eventbrite, like it's listed.
Another strategy you could test out is holding like Facebook events and inviting, and then you can run a conversion campaign where the conversion is people opting into the event, and then you can just they can then get entered in your email and then come by. So you can do Facebook event campaigns where it's again a conversion campaign, just as long as you're not running traffic. So even if you're Eventbrite and you're not selling on your website, still run a conversion campaign and just track it.
Okay.
And that will dictate if you're finding success or not. Because that's what we did with the comedy club is like, hey, our tickets are $25. he's like, nobody comes alone. So as long as the cost per purchase is under $25, it's profitable. And we were getting about $15 to $20 cost per ticket purchase. So, and just all tracked. And again, because of iOS and like all the tracking updates, that $20 cost per purchase is probably worst case scenario. It's probably actually closer to $10 to $15 because just so many people are getting lost with the iOS updates through Apple. So that whatever's getting reported is like worst case scenario.
And it's a Vancouver comedy club that you guys?
No, I was in Toronto.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was, I forget. We don't work with them anymore. I forget what it was called. Something Jokers Comedy Club.
Everything. So that's super weird. That's yeah. That's Joker's Comedy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Super weird. I was
You were
talking
just
about
talking
them this morning with someone.
No way. Yeah. We ran their ads. They're
Crazy.
I think something happened, like arson happened, so then he had to close down the comedy club or something like that. But yeah, we ran it for about like 6 months, and they were seeing quite a bit of success.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Awesome. Any other question?
So as you mentioned that the iOS updates
Yeah.
have impacted the tracking scenario.
Yeah.
I used to like read in this couple of years back, like in exactly 2 years ago, the iOS 14 upgrade broke the lookalike audience.
Yeah.
So it's been 2 years since that, and still it has not recovered. So what do you suggest for the lookalike audience?
Yeah. So lookalike audiences, you used to be able to go so small. You used to have like 150 people and you could make a lookalike audience.
Yeah.
Now, because of the iOS, you have to have like 10,000 plus, because of that 10,000, they're probably only tracking like 2,000 to 3,000 of them because of iOS. So that's how, as well as with lookalike audiences, when you create it, you can go percentage of accuracy. So it would be 1 to 10%. How accurate do you want to go? We used to play around with like 1% accurate, 3% accurate. Everything should just be 10% now. So it's kind of the broader the better, but still giving it parameters. So your just lookalike audiences just have to be as big as possible now. Whereas before, I would create a lookalike audience off of like 100 people, and now I have to create it off of like 20,000 people now. So that's where it's still interest and open until you get your email list up to like 10,000 people, then you can start creating lookalike audiences. So if you're just getting into it, start with open and interest and behavioral targeting. Once you're at scale and you're getting like thousands and thousands of interactions, then you can test out lookalikes. Yeah, that was a good question.
What's a budget that you'd recommend for a spot? So let's say I want to only convert, because it's case management, so
Yep.
this can go on for like 2 years.
Yeah.
But let's say 40 clients per month.
40.
So like basically like, you know, ones that are okay to pay and book in.
Yeah.
What would you say would be a budget that would be?
Ooh. I mean,
that'd
what
be
is
cost
like average order value of those 40 people?
Minimum 165.
165.
So if we go from 165 to
Retaining?
4,000, if
Okay.
retaining.
I would go like you can start off with, if 2,000 is within, and then you could get 2 platforms going. You can start with $2,000 and then getting 40. If you're getting over 40, yeah, per month. And if you're getting over 40, that's when you can scale it down. But when you start off, but you're already running it, so yeah, you could get away with, and especially if you have a Pixel, you can 2,000. So like I ran campaign I've been running ads, and this last month we got about 80 leads through ads, and we ran about a $4,000 to $5,000 budget. So when I was running at 2,000, I was getting about 30 to 40 leads. So
Okay.
you can, that's a good reference. And our cost per lead was probably like $40 to $50. So like that cost per lead depends on your conversion rate. Like if you're converting pretty heavily, 2,000, then that'll be pretty ROI positive for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And especially if you're retaining them. Like it's monthly.
It's like mostly it could be like a one-off consultation or review process, like
Yeah.
a couple of months down the line. Retaining depends on the client.
So what we would do in that situation, we just find what is your average lifetime value per customer. Like out of all your customers, what does the average customer bring revenue to you?
Okay.
And then
550 or something.
yeah, 550. So cost per acquisition just needs to be in a profitable mark on that 550. So if you get a $4,000 customer, perfect. But just go by averages, and then your average conversion rate and everything. Because when it does range, I'm the same boat. Like it ranges in, if somebody's spending $5,000 a month to somebody spending $500,000 a month, they're obviously different ranges. I just go by my average, and that's how I start dictating the success. So you don't have to go by the granular what every conversion does. It's just lifetime value.
Okay, thanks.
Sweet. Any other questions? Hit me with it, Megan.
How important is branding with paid ads? Because you mentioned that like you needed them to pivot.
Yeah.
Because they were so hyper focused on that. Yeah. What do you tell people? How do you navigate that?
I think it's huge. So I just actually just had this conversation like yesterday. Especially if you're working with like multiple marketing partners, having like a brand guideline is essential, because then if everybody's just kind of making their own thing up about your brand, then you just have mixed messages, as well as like having a bit of a niche. So like you got a great niche of like, this is the client I work with, and putting that in your advertising. Like the more you can qualify somebody through your branding and who you work with in the ads helps with success. If you're just like, hey, any business owner, I'll work with you. The pixel's gonna go all over the place. It doesn't know who to optimize for. If you call out, hey, like I call out, hey, if you're a Shopify brand doing this revenue, this is who we work with. So the branding and who your demographic is really helps with this success, because one, your creative will help qualify them, and so that where you don't get people that you don't want to work with clicking your ads. If somebody who you want to work with sees your ads and they click, then that helps speed up the learning. So that's, again, it's the branding play of it, like who do you want to work with, how do you want to look like, and everything. It will speed up the learning of your campaigns a lot. So the setup before getting in ads is work your brand, like get your branding in set, your automated flows, and your social organic strategy going, then dive into ads, and then it helps with everything. Yeah.
It's just us.
Hit me with it.
We're moving into like right now we're just Vancouver based, which seems really easy. You
Yep.
know, just build search ads like comedy this
Yep.
weekend, Vancouver. It seems
Yeah.
really simple. But as we're doing shows in the Lower Mainland, like right in Coquitlam, White Rock, Fort Langley, that doesn't feel like the type of communities that are like, you know, comedy this weekend. Fort Langley is probably not a search term used by local residents.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we've thought that maybe we should go to display ads.
Ooh, I would go more meta ads.
Yeah,
So
more
So
meta.
Vancouver, you could probably move the needle with Google, because more people are searching. Like I'm one of those people. I'd search comedy shows this weekend on Google.
Yeah.
Whereas totally
Saturday,
lower,
on
exactly. Lower mainland people, it's more of a push. So search is pull, social's push. If you need more of a push, I would go to social. Display,
Okay.
I mean, I'm a little bit biased, but I've never seen a business like run their business off display and like convert. It's usually search, PMAX, shopping, and then with like a little bit of display layered on.
Okay.
Meta is pushing people to book. Hey, are you looking for something to do this weekend? We got a great lineup. Hit the link, like 20-second video. It'll convert like crazy.
Okay.
But I would go more to Instagram and Facebook than display.
Okay.
I would need a good case study to see a business work on display.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
good to know.
yeah.
Thank you.
I've worked with publishing brands that do really well. So like Daily Hive did really well with display and everything like that for like newsletters, but never a service-based or like an event-based company
Okay.
to display. Like I think like big concerts do a lot of display.
Mm-hmm.
That's just because they got a marketing budget that they can spend like crazy.
They're
But
also talking about doing YouTube ads.
YouTube's good. YouTube's good.
It's so cheap right
Yeah, YouTube's great. So YouTube's like Google's version of push, right? So anything that you can target interests and go after people, that's where I'd put your budget in the Lower Mainland. So YouTube, Meta, Instagram, for sure.
Okay.
And that's where like PMAX would go great. Performance Max campaign on Google. You can go heavy into YouTube. YouTube Shorts is great. Like YouTube Shorts is because they're trying to compete with TikTok. Like those are all, so if you have those quick kind of vertical style videos, you can run IG ads like Instagram Reels, you can run Facebook, you can run YouTube Shorts, you can run anything, right?
Yeah.
It's that 9x16. So whatever is more of a push, so YouTube and Meta would work really well in Lower Mainland.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Sweet. Any other? Yep.
Sooner or later, the generative AI or every other brand is like integrating AI with their
Yeah.
campaigns and like to create the the ad copy and stuff
Mhm.
like that. So how do you think, like, where can it go to scale?
Yeah, no, AI is great. So AI, how I look at AI with marketing, it won't like, you can't take over everything, but it can make you really efficient. So if you're like, okay, I got to create like 5 different versions of this copy, which in your meta ads, you can always have 5 to 6 different versions of text and just let it optimize. That's where I would go to like a chat GPT and be like, just to get inspiration. But if you're just like copying and pasting, it sounds like AI. Like people can call it out. I've even had clients be like, dude, did you just copy this from ChatGPT? I was like, no, but he's like, it sounds AI. So that's where, as well as creatives, like if you want graphics made, there's some good AI websites. Like I think it's, what is it?
Delhi.
What was it?
Delhi.
I don't know that one. There's like Savvy something, but like there's a bunch now where you can just put your assets and then it can create some. So you can test those out. Those are more graphic heavy, but for video, like we use video for like editing. So like editing, adding captions, but it's still gonna be you doing it. So again, it makes you just more efficient. It's not gonna take over your marketing strategy and just run everything for you, but I look at it as it'll make like a 5-person marketing team like 1 or 2 now. Like it just makes you more efficient. So you don't need all these people working on it, but use it for creatives, copy for sure to get inspiration, and then like editing, make your edit fast forward on it. So you're just not piecing it together, but layer it on top. Don't depend on it completely. And the platform's already doing it, right? Like Performance Max is very AI, and then Facebook has Advantage Plus. It's like their version of Performance Max. That's only for e-commerce businesses though, but it's just very open, let the AI do its thing. And some of the best results come from those campaigns. Sweet.
Yeah,
One more. Yeah, let's go.
Copy.
Yeah.
Add copy, long versus short, emojis, no emojis.
Oh yeah, you can have. I mean, it depends on the brand, but oh yeah, you can always have emojis.
This is my belief.
Yeah.
Sometimes people argue with me. So.
Oh yeah, so like this is where again I use a meta ad library. So I'll go to like bigger, better brands that have these big marketing. See how all of them are usually. If you have a paragraph in your copy, that's when I would move away. Like little hook, space it out, then point form with some emojis and then a call to action. Like make it digestible. When people are scrolling, if they just see a paragraph, it hurts conversions. Where if they're scrolling and they see a little hook, then hit see more, and it's just like a little point form, fun, digestible, that works a lot better. So I'm not a great copywriter. That's where I honestly use AI, or I just have team members now that are way better than me. But when I was writing, I was writing all the copy for Daily Hive for a long time, and I sucked at it. But I would just make it as digestible as possible. And if I had this long paragraph, it would totally bomb. Whereas then I'd have just 1 sentence hook, 3-point forms of like benefits, and then call to action, and that outperformed the in-depth copy that I put like hours into. So yeah, short and sweet. People are as you want to like this sounds bad, but you want to speak to consumers as like they're like lazy 5-year-olds. like you just like lay it out for them. If they ever like question something, or they're like, no, I don't want to read that, it'll hurt. So you just want to be like so simple. That's why like my videos are 15 to 20 seconds. Like nobody's staying around anymore unless you're got a great Mr. Beast video for half an hour that people will watch, or if you're an organic YouTube business. But just short, think of them as lazy as possible, spell it out for them. If you assume, oh no, they'll get what I'm saying, they won't. They will not. You need to lay it down for them like they're a half asleep 5-year-old. Yeah. It's honest. Because consumers have so many people bidding for their attention. Oh, yeah. So you need to just be so clear to them, or else they'll just be like, oh, no, it's just a thumb swipe away, right? So I found I was doing that with my first ads. I'm like, I'll work with you and I'll be your best friend. I was like telling this long story, and then I made one video where I'm like, I just literally recorded Ads Manager, and I was like, this is the company did, these are the results. Got like 10 leads from that, from like a big high production 2-minute video. I was like, okay, well, now I'm just gonna do that.
TikTok is introducing auto scroll.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh no.
I know. That's how lazy people are.
Yeah. Stop it.
Yeah, you can't even do this.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure people's thumbs are turning to, like even mine, it was like 2 hand stretches.
Yeah.
From being on my phone.
People are just getting lazier and lazier, and then soon we'll just have the goggles where it'll just scroll for us, and then we have to like blink to stuff. Yeah. People are lazy, man. People are so lazy. Yeah. Awesome. Any more? Open floor? All good? Sweet. I'll send you this presentation if you want to send it out, and then yeah. Awesome. Thanks everybody.